So, you want to hear another story, huh?
Back in late 2018, the PSVR received a port of the much-loved looter-shooter franchise Borderlands 2. The game came with its faults and wasn't loved by all, but showed how well a PSVR port could be. And now in 2019, PCVR gamers are getting a taste of what it's like to strut as a vault hunter of Pandora. And let's just say it isn't going well. What's up guys, Solo here with a new series where we talk about current events, I give my opinion, and I ask you for yours. Today, let's talk about the controversy surrounding the recent release of Borderlands 2 VR to PC. Now, if you haven't heard about what's going on yet, then we'll just call you Dwight.
Dwight, you ignorant slut!
Whoa, this is a family show. The controversy surrounding the PCVR release of Borderlands 2 comes as quite a mixed bag. PC Gamer reports that, quote, initial Steam user reviews for the game are pretty rough, clocking it at a mere 45% positive at the moment. This seems mostly due to image scaling and controller position problems with a variety of VR setups, end quote. They continue to describe tests completed by VR enthusiast YouTubers, where the tubers tried 5 different headsets, reporting these issues on all but one. This all seems pretty devastating and a little concerning when you consider that the PCVR port costs a whopping $50, more than the PSVR predecessor and nearly as much as a AAA title at launch. Let that sink in for a minute. If you want to read more of that article, I'll leave the link in the description below. The plot thickens, of course, when taking a look at the Borderlands 2 VR Steam page, full of angry comments by headset gamers, complaints from scaling, to price, to weapon position, character model size being off, nausea-inducing, and so on and so on. Interestingly enough, there are plenty of people on the other side arguing in favor of the port, but to no surprise, these users seem to be playing on an Oculus, which seems to be one of the few headsets that this game is actually playable on. Now, as I said earlier, Borderlands 2 VR has been on the PSVR for almost a year now, and the game's reception has been much more pleasant on Sony's headset. Honestly, I'm curious to know if there are any PSVR headset owners that had similar complaints. Do you sympathize with the PCVR crowd on this? Let me know in the comments section below. I'd also really love to know if there's anybody who's played both versions and what their take would be. Now, with all this controversy, I have to highlight and hopefully dispel a few things that I saw.
Something's definitely fishy here.
First, I read a few Steam comments regarding Locomotion options being limited. Now, disclaimer here, I have not played the PCVR version of this title. However, I assume the port was near the same as PSVR, in which case numerous options exist. In fact, when the port was first released, there were many people commenting on how this release seemed to have paid close attention to these needs of a veteran VR player, giving complete control of comfort options and movement. You can teleport, click turn, walk, jump, and toggle sprint always on. To me, it didn't seem limited, and honestly is one of the few games that doesn't need a patch to fix its locomotion. Now again, disclaimer, I can't really say for sure whether or not this is something that's plaguing the PCVR, but if it's a direct port...
What do you mean, Ben?
Yeah!
Don't make me smack you, sweetheart. I'll do it.
The second is an issue of expectation versus reality. Borderlands 2 VR has not had multiplayer since its release to the PSVR in 2018, which is why Gearbox added an additional mode or ability, whatever you want to call it. Basically, they added bullet time so that you could kind of make up for the fact that you don't have friends to take on all these baddies. Yet many people seem to be unaware of this and simply expected it to be there when ported to the PC. Now, don't get me wrong, I know PC VR titles tend to have that bit of missing flair, the bells and whistles the PSVR may not get. But ultimately, I do feel like this is a player expectation issue rather than an issue with the game itself. Unless Gearbox openly announced that the PCVR version would include multiplayer, I would say it's safe to assume that the port will be near identical to the PSVR version. Now, I do have to admit that this situation brings a new question to me, and honestly, it makes me a little worried. Is Gearbox giving up on the VR community? Do they really not care about these ports? I mean, what's really going on? The game only works on one headset with others falling to the wayside. I can't help but wonder if Gearbox decided after what they saw with the PSVR release it just wasn't worth putting their effort into. I really hope that isn't the case, and I could really go for some Borderlands 3 in VR. And finally, the last thing I want to simply comment on is why you should play it on the PSVR instead. And honestly, it's all about the aim controller. PSVR has several titles that use the aim controller, and well, I'll tell you firsthand that it makes for one of the best experiences in VR. The locomotion and control is really something else, and I personally feel like using the aim controller is easily the best way to experience Borderlands, period. Well, that's it for me here, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think that the PCVR crowd is getting the short end of the stick? Do you think Gearbox has given up on VR as a whole? Let me know what you guys think down below. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to stay tuned for more to come content, and leave me a comment with your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next one. Solo out.